Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this new year. It's finally here. Oh my goodness. Anybody make any solutions or select a word to live by this year? I think, Ellen, that's popular in your family. Um, so my husband and I started a new tradition a couple years ago about each of us writing down 3 destinations, and we put them in a hat and we pick one, and that's our trip for the year. So this year we're going to the living room. Um, Actually, we did it a little differently this year. I asked my husband, "Where do you want to go when all of this quarantine pandemic stuff is over?" And he said, "Milan." So we're going to Milan. Hopefully, it's 2021, not 2022, but I'll take what I can get at this point. So traditions are good for us, and they ground us. They bring us comfort. They give us something to look forward to. We've had to make a few adjustments over the last 9 months, but we're all getting very creative with all of that. So maybe we'll continue some of the new traditions that we've all been making through this time, and find new joy in those. Yoga is an ancient tradition. It's evolved over thousands of years, and maybe your personal yoga practice has evolved and changed over the years also. I know that mine has. I mean, I became a yoga teacher for goodness sake. Seen that coming a couple of years ago. Uh, and we move towards things that bring us comfort and happiness and joy. Whether that's traditions or hobbies, people, places, pets, both of you guys with your pets there behind you, or activities such as yoga. We embrace the things that make us happy. And that's really important as we embark on this new year. And lots of changes ahead in this new year. So, speaking of comfort and happiness, remember that this is your practice and do what works for you. Modify the poses as you need to and do what makes you happy. We're going to try something new tonight, or at least it's new to me. I've been familiar with sun salutations, but I just realized that there are also moon salutations. So we are going to do a moon salutation tonight, and it's a part of the ancient tradition of yoga. So I thought that would be a perfect way to start the new year together. So take a good seat. That's good manual inner rotation of your thighs, tailbone down, kind of shrug your shoulders, bring your shoulder blades down your back, and close your eyes. Take your thoughts inward. When you find happiness, you see clearly the ecstasy of being. Connect with your breath, gentle, easy breaths to let the day go. Start your yoga. And bring your hands together at heart center. Inhale, exhale, cleansing breath. Inhale to Om. And flutter your eyes open. And come to hands and knees. You can pad as you like. I tend to use a blanket to pad my knees. And I messed up my knees somehow in the last couple of weeks. I have no idea how. So I will be doing what makes me happy today and making a couple of adjustments to keep my knee happy. So hands and knees, tabletop. We'll do a couple cat cows. You can do these as big as small as you like. Just arch your back for cow, round for cat. Inhaling on cow, exhale for cat. And like I said, make it as big or small as you like. Just stretching out your shoulders, your back. And next time you come to center, pause and curl to your right. And I'll be mirroring you guys today. So inhale to center, exhale, curl to your left. Inhale to center, curl to your right, exhale. Inhale to center, exhale to your left. Inhale to center. Extend your right leg back, toes curled under, and stretch your toes, your Achilles, your calf out, kind of rock forward and back. Raise your leg hip height, extend your opposite arm. Inhale, and on an exhale, bring your elbow and knee to meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. Set them on the floor. Stretch your left foot out. Stretch your toes. Rock back and forth to stretch your calf, your toes, your Achilles. And raise your leg hip height. Extend your opposite arm. On an inhale, elbow and knee to meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet. And release. Drop your hips and your butt back towards your ankles. Extend your arms out long on the mat for puppy pose. Should feel a nice, good shoulder stretch here. Push yourself up slightly. Slide your left arm under your right armpit. Head is looking to your right, and your ear is pretty much on the floor. Should feel good. Outer shoulder stretch here. And breathe. Push yourself up. Switch arms. Extending your right arm under the left armpit. Raise up. Your right foot forward on the mat, 90 degrees. And I'm going to do this lunge with my back knee up. You're welcome to keep your knee on the floor. I'm also going to use blocks. This is keeping my knee happy. So stretch to lunge, keeping your knee in line with your ankle. Should feel this on your left hip flexor. And here's where the blocks come in handy. Plans on your blocks or your books. Straighten your front leg as you bend your back leg. And go back and forth gently. When your front leg is extended, you should feel a nice, happy hamstring stretch. Never do it, but. And if you want more of a hamstring stretch, you can take your blocks out to the outside of your extended leg. Looking good, everybody. And replace your hands in front and switch feet. Lunge second side. Knee down or knee up, yogi's preference. And then hands on the block for bow and scrape, straightening the front leg, bending the back leg, and switching that. Back and forth a couple times at your own pace. If you want a little more, place the blocks on the outside of your front leg. And release. Hands down, both feet back, come to plank. Clear your shoulders so that your heart is melting towards the floor. Elbows are pointed back, and not the happiest thing in the world, but we're gonna do some baby push-ups, baby plank push-ups. So bend your arms so that your elbows go back just a little bit. You're just dipping a couple inches down. Just do about 5 little dips. Once you're done with that, push yourself back to down dog. Our first down dog of the evening. Walk it out, stretch it out however feels good. And walk your hands back to meet your feet. Hands on your hips. Upside down letter L. Then root down with your feet and rise up to standing. And release. All right, if you've got a blanket, move it out of the way. It's time for some moon salutation. So Freddie, have you done moon salutation before? You have, awesome. Well, I made a couple minor modifications. So if it's not exactly how you've done it in the past, I modified it to be more in line with Ashaya yoga. Okay, so come to the front of your mat for mountain pose and stand well, feet hip distance apart. Engage the 4 corners of your feet. That's the ball mound, the base of your big toe. Press that down into the ground. Energetically lift the inner arches. Tack down the inner heel. Fan out to the ball mound beneath your baby toe. Energetically, at least imagine to lift your outer arches and tack down your outer heel. Shrug your shoulders, send your shoulder blades down your back. You should feel your legs and arms and your whole body engaged at this point. And breathe. Extend your arms up. Link your thumbs together and bend to your right. Just a tilt from your hips. Inhale up. And switch the link of your thumbs and bend to your left. Inhale up. Swan dive down for a forward bend. Halfway lift. Forward fold, hands on your hips, shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back, root down to rise up. Step wide on your mat, looking forward, and extend your arms out parallel. So your feet are parallel with each other, your arms are parallel with the floor, and engage your feet and arms like we did. Arms out above your feet. So out to the sides. There you go. Engage your arms and your feet as we did. And forward fold here, placing your hands on the floor. You can use your hands to kind of gently push you so your back is a little rounded here. Place your hands on your hips. Come up to halfway, upside down letter L, root down to rise up. Extend your arms out, again, parallel with the floor. Pitch your right foot toward edge of your mat and bend towards that foot. So you're coming down to your right side. Your knee is somewhere maybe close to your nose is somewhere close to your knee. Should feel a good hamstring and inner groin stretch here. And breathe. Pivot your foot back, and from the middle, hands on your hips, halfway up, shrug your shoulders, root down to rise up. Pivot your left foot. Bend towards your left foot, down to the floor. Knee and nose are somewhere close to each other. Pivot your foot back forward. Come to the center, hands on your hips, shrug your shoulders, and rise up. Arms forward. Let's see. Oh, okay. Come to stand at the front of the mat. Step back into lunge with your left foot or pick a foot. Raise your arms up. You can do them right above you or cactus. Either way, do a slight back bend here. Place your hands on the floor. Come to down dog. And breathe. Down dog always makes me happy. Just feel like I'm stretching everything. Send your opposite foot forward. For me, that is my left foot. Come up to lunge. Hands up or in cactus and a slight back bend. Release your hands to the floor, step back, down dog. Raise your right foot up, kind of a doggy splits. I find all these moon salutation poses are great for stretching the legs. Release, other foot. Looking good, everybody. Release. Release your foot, come to plank. Clear your shoulders. I'm not going to make you do push-ups again. And come down to real floor. Slight bend for cobra, which I always do cobra with my hands up. I don't know why. This is a tradition or a habit of mine. Push yourself back to child's pose. Knees out wide, toes touching, forehead on the floor. If you want an active child's pose, tense your hands so that your fingers are all on the mat. Your wrists and palms are up, a little tense. Spider fingers, and you can pretend like you're scrunching the mat. And it activates your shoulders. Gently push yourself up and come to squat. Wide-legged squat. Your elbows on the inside. Your elbows are pressing against your legs, legs pressing against your arms. Good isometric stretch here. Release. Come to stand at the top of your mat. Raise your arms up. Forward. Halfway lift to your fingertips or your hands on your shins. Exhale down. Inhale, hands on your hips, shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back, root down, rise up. Arms up and down to heart center. And we have done a moon salutation. Awesome. Good job, everybody. So, on to the rest of class. Stand well, feet hip distance apart. Cross your left foot over your right. Keeping a space in between your feet can be about the same size as getting an extra foot in there, or it can be a little closer. And forward fold. This is an IT stretch. You should be feeling it in whatever leg you have in back. That is the hip and IT band that you should be feeling. If you want a little extra, you can grab opposite elbows to weight your body a little bit more. See if you can keep your feet, the weight equally distributed between both your feet. And don't forget to breathe. Hands on your hips, come halfway up, upside down letter L. Shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back, root down to rise up. Raise both your hands, and whichever leg you have in back, use the opposite hand to grab the hand of the leg that's in back. Hope that makes sense. And lean to the opposite direction. So for me, my right leg is in back, and I'm grabbing my right arm with my left arm, and I'm leaning to the left. You should feel this up your right side. And if you feel any crunching on the left side, then raise up a little bit so you're not feeling that crunchy. And release. Switch sides. So step your opposite leg over way you had it before. So for me, that is my right leg in front of my left. And forward fold. Again, if you want a little bit more, grab your elbows with the opposite hands. And breathe. Think happy thoughts about the yoga teacher right now. If your IT bands are screaming at you as bad as mine are, then don't hate me for that. I obviously need to do this stretch more often. Place your hands on your hips, halfway up, shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back, root down to rise up, and raise your arms. Whichever leg you have back, with the opposite hand, grab the back leg's wrist and lean in the opposite direction. For me, my left leg is back, my right leg is, my right hand is grabbing my left arm and leaning to the side. And rise up. Ooh, release. Shake it out a little bit. You can do hula hoop asana, hands on your hips, and send your hips spinning in one direction. When was the last time you guys did a hula hoop? And go in the opposite direction. And release. Whew. Come to down dog. Extend your left leg up, hip height. Bend your leg 90 degrees. Stack your hips and send your leg over so that you've got an open dog. Headed into wild thing. You're welcome to flip your dog into wild thing if you'd like. Otherwise, just enjoy the dog. Good hip opener here. Try to keep your weight evenly distributed between your two hands. And release. Raise your right leg, hip height. Bend your leg 90 degrees. Stack your hips to open your legs and drop open into open dog. Keeping your hand weight evenly distributed between your hands. Flip over into wild thing if you're feeling it tonight. I'm gonna stick with the open dog. Keep your neck loose, kind of bobble your head a little bit to make sure your neck isn't helping you do the stretch. And release. With your left leg, step it up so that your knee is close to your left wrist. You can have your shin parallel with the mat. It's more comfortable for me going into pigeon here to have my my ankle closer to my my pelvis rather than my wrist. So keep your back foot curled under, your knee lifted. You may find it easier or more comfortable to raise up on your blocks or your book. Sorry, I should have notified you of that before beforehand with your blocks behind you there. Kind of helps you get a little bit more into your hip flexors if you're raised up. If you want to take it a little further, you can lean on your blocks. Scissor your legs together so that builds, that helps protect your knees. If you want to take your pigeon down a little further, I like to do it with my head on a block so that I'm not all the way down. But again, do what works for you. And breathe. Looking good, everybody. Should feel this in your piriformis. Push yourself up and unfold and back up into down dog. Got a second side to do here. So, and your right knee up towards your right wrist. Foot is back towards your pelvis or parallel to the mat if you are that flexible. Back leg is, your toes are curled under, your knee is up. Scissor your legs together. You can raise up on your blocks. I tend to, once I've been in the stretch a little bit, I feel like I can take my blocks down a little. And then rest my head on my block. But do what works for you. And try to keep your weight evenly distributed on both sides of your body. You don't want to kind of dump into either side. You want it to be even. Your volume control is to move the bent leg, ankle up closer towards your hands if you want more of a stretch. And release. Ooh. Not a lot of comfort and joy in that pose, but it is good for us. Come to seated. Your feet out long in front of you, feet on the floor. And find your sitting bones. Kind of just rock back and forth a little bit. Figure out where your sitting bones are. That's kind of the divot there. Once you find them, kind of rest in that spot and lean back. Robot arms. So your elbows are against your sides. Your hands are lifted like a robot. Lean back, extend your feet up and march. So step down with your toes. Slowly. and release. Come back to seated, kind of shake it out a little bit. And one more time, lean back, find your sitting bones and lean back. Feet are on the floor this time. Robot arms, lean back. Inhale, and on an exhale, turn to your right. So your feet are on the floor. Well, you can do your feet lifted if you want, but no need to if you don't want to. And keep breathing on this side. On an inhale, come to center. On an exhale, turn to your left and inhale. On an inhale, come to center. On an exhale, go to your right. Inhale to center. Exhale to your left and breathe. Inhale to center, and we're done with abs. Phew. Always brings joy to be done with abs, right? Okay, come to lay on your belly. And with your raised up on your elbows, just kind of do what we call slither asana. Just kind of slide back and forth, clear your shoulders. This always makes me happy, feeling like I'm a lizard. And then we're slithering. Have your arms parallel to each other. Your elbows are underneath the front part of your shoulder, hands on the floor. And then isometrically pull your arms back towards your body. They're not going anywhere. You're just isometrically pulling. And release. Again, pretend like you're trying to send your chest forward and your arms back. Don't forget to breathe. And release. One more time. Isometrically pull your arms toward your body. And release. Come down so your forehead is on the mat and your arms are behind you. Palms facing your body. Shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back, and send your hands down towards your feet and lift up from your shoulders so that your chest is off the floor. Extend your feet up as well for lotus. And release. Another time. Shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back. Extend your hands out long and lift your chest. Raise your legs if that feels good to you. And release. One more time. Shrug your shoulders, head of the arm bones back. Send your hands down towards your feet, chest rises. Extend your legs up and breathe. And release. Whew. Rest your hands, rest your forehead on your hands. Your hands are stacked. And just pause here a moment. Use your right hand to grab your right ankle or somewhere thereabouts and pull your ankle towards your buttocks. At the same time, push your foot against your hand. So you've got a push-pull action going here. Send your navel towards your spine. Should feel this in your quad. And release. Second side. Hand on your head, on your forehead, on your hand. There we go. Grab your left ankle with your left hand. Bring it towards your buttocks. And then push your foot into your hand at the same time that you're pulling your foot towards you. So you've got a push-pull action. And release. Come to lay on your back. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. So you've got a figure four. And grab your right leg behind grab behind your right leg. There we go. Bring it towards you. Use your left elbow against your left inner thigh. Again, a push-pull action here. You're pushing both against each other. Flex both your feet. Keep a good low back curve. You don't want to flatten your back to the floor. And let go of the leg and send the leg unit to the right so that your left foot ends up on the floor. Should feel this, and I have to hold onto my left foot with my right hand. You should feel this in your left buttocks. Volume control, if you want more, you can move the leg unit towards your head. And release, bring the leg unit back up. Switch feet. Right ankle is with the left knee. Grab behind the left leg, bring the leg unit towards you. Right elbow is pushing against right inner thigh, which is pushing back. Both your feet are flexed. Got a lot of push-pull going on here. Keep your low back curve and don't forget to breathe. Lots to do here. Release your hold on the legs and send the leg to your left so that your right foot meets the floor. And again, I have to hold onto my foot. And if you want more, move the leg unit closer up the floor towards your head. And release. Bring all the legs back up. Feet on the floor, knees pointing up. Send your left foot towards your right buttocks. So your leg is bending so that the left leg is kind of flat on the floor. The left knee is headed towards the front of the mat. Does that all make sense? You got that, Freddie? Hopefully you folks at home got that as well. Send the left knee towards the front edge of your mat. At the same time, send your lower ribs towards the mat to keep your low back curve. I like to hold on to my left foot with my right hand. If you want more here, you can grab your right leg and bring it towards you. That should be more of a hip flexor stretch on the left side. Or you can take your right foot and place it on the left leg to weight it down a little bit more to get more of a stretch. Whatever makes you happy. Stretching out our hip flexors here and our inner quad really helps our backs. And it's always good to have a happy back. And release, switch sides. Right heel comes towards the left buttocks. Knee opens, leg opens. The right knee is reaching for the front edge of the mat. Your back ribs are on the mat for a low back curve. Should feel this in your right hip flexor and inner quad. Again, if you want more, you can weight the right leg down with your left foot. That actually feels really good for me right now, so I'm just going to hold that position. Or you can grab your left leg and bring it towards you. I'm going to stick with the foot on the leg though. And release. Stretch your legs out long on the mat. Take your left leg, bring it up towards you and cross it over your body. You can keep the leg at 90 degrees. You can straighten the leg. We're in a runner's twist here, or a twist. I refer to it as runner's twist because it's what I always did when I was running long distance. Left arm is out long. You can look towards your left and breathe. And release. Other side. Right leg comes up, cross it over your body and towards the floor. Looking in the opposite direction. And release. Raise your feet up in the air, soles of the feet pointing at the ceiling, hands up in the air, and wiggle everything. This is dead bug pose. figured if we're doing a class on happiness and joy, it's a good time to be a dead bug. It's also a good way to get everything from your day out. And then just let that calm down. Give yourself a big hug, pulling your knees in towards you. Kind of roll back and forth, left and right. Settle in before our final resting pose, Shavasana. And when you're ready, extend your legs out long on the mat. Or any final poses that you want to do before Shavasana. If you want to grab a blanket or anything to keep yourself warm. I'm going to turn off some of the lights here so they're not in Freddie's eyes. There we go. We found comfort and happiness in this tradition of yoga tonight. Let that melt into joy as you relax in Shavasana. Relax your toes, your feet, your ankles, your calves, your quads, your hips, your torso, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your neck, your jaw, your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your ears, and your head. Relax your breathing. Return to your breath. Start to bring gentle movement back to your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch out in any way that feels wonderful. And when you're ready, bring your knees up and roll to your favorite side. Rest there a moment before you have to return to your day. And when you're ready, push yourself up to seated. Extend your arms out long on the mat beside you and raise them up, gathering all the happy and joyful energy in the room. Bring your hands together above your head and lower them to your heart center. Bowing, namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.